Welcome to Whisper of Haunted Waves. The house on Brownsville Road never wanted a family inside it. For years it sat quietly at the edge of the neighborhood, its windows dark, its hallways cold, its walls carrying a silence that felt too intentional to be normal. When the Cranmer family moved in, they believed they'd found a perfect home, historic, spacious, full of charm. They had no idea their house had been waiting, watching, and wanting. The first signs were subtle, small things most people would ignore. A strange coldness that clung to the hallway no matter how warm the day was. A faint tapping from the basement that stopped the moment someone walked down the stairs. Shadows that seemed too dark for the daylight around them. The family brushed it off. Old houses creak, air moves, light plays tricks. But this wasn't a trick, and the house wasn't creaking. It was waking. One night, long before midnight, the father lay in bed listening to the wind rustle the trees outside. Then he heard something else, footsteps, slow, heavy, deliberate, that echoed through the hallway just outside the bedroom door. He froze. The children were asleep. His wife was lying beside him. No one should have been walking. The footsteps paused, as if sensing his fear. Then, continued. Not wandering, not random. They moved like something pacing, thinking, deciding. He got up, opened the door, and looked into the dark hallway. Nothing. Silence. But when he returned to bed, the footsteps followed again, only this time, closer. That was the start. After that night, the footsteps returned every night. Slow, heavy, never running, never rushing, always moving with the unsettling rhythm of something patiently watching the family inside its walls. The children began waking from nightmares. They told their mother they saw someone standing in their rooms. Not a person. A shape, a shadow, too tall to be human, with shoulders too narrow, with a head that tilted like a puppet with broken strings. The daughter said something tugged her blanket at night, pulling it down slowly as if testing her reaction. The son said a voice whispered his name from the basement door, soft, cold, stretching his name like a secret only the house understood. Their mother tried comforting them. She said it was imagination, dreams, the ordinary fears children feel in new homes. But even she felt something was wrong. Sometimes when she walked through the hallway, she felt breath on her neck, slow, cold, almost curious. Then came the smell, a thick, sour odor of sulfur, putrid and sharp. It would appear in random places. The kitchen, the children's room, the basement. No amount of cleaning removed it. Plumbers found nothing wrong. The smell wasn't rising from pipes or drains. It wasn't coming from the earth. It was appearing, like a warning. The father tried to stay rational until the night he woke, suffocating. He opened his eyes to see a tall, black figure standing at the foot of his bed. Its entire body was a mass of shadow, twisting, bending, as if made of smoke trapped in a shape. Its head hung at an unnatural angle, and the air around it pressed against his chest like invisible hands. He couldn't speak. He couldn't breathe. He could only stare as the figure leaned slightly forward, its presence crushing and ice-cold. Then, without a sound, it vanished. The next morning the father didn't tell the family what he saw, but the house already knew the fear had taken root, and fear is what it fed on. The attacks grew bolder. Scratches appeared on the children's skin, thin cuts, rising on their arms and legs while they slept. Doors slammed shut with the force of a storm. The mother felt something shove her in the kitchen, knocking her into the counter. She collapsed, gasping, convinced a person had pushed her, but no one was behind her. Night after night, the house grew louder. It groaned as if something underneath it was moving. Knocking came from inside the walls. The basement door rattled violently without wind or footsteps. The father heard whispers that were not his own, thoughts, whispers telling him to leave, or worse, to submit. Finally, unable to endure the fear, the family sought help. Priests arrived at the home, expecting exaggeration, expecting emotional distress. But the moment they stepped inside, everything changed. The air turned cold. The rooms darkened. The house seemed to exhale a deep, invisible breath. One priest said he felt something slither across his skin. Another said he felt watched by multiple unseen eyes. They walked through each room, sprinkling holy water, whispering prayers. When the holy water hit the walls of the hallway, the entire house vibrated. Lights flickered violently, one after another, like a wave of electricity. A deep guttural growl rose from the floors, an impossible animalistic sound that shook the glass in the windows. The priests staggered backward, gripping their crosses. They knew then what the family had been living with, a demonic presence, something old, intelligent, and filled with hatred. The church was alerted, assessors came, investigators visited, and every time, the home reacted violently. Shadows darted across the walls. The temperature dropped to freezing. The sulfur smell thickened until people gagged. A priest placed a Bible on a table. The Bible slammed shut on its own minutes later. During one blessing, a dark mass formed near the ceiling, stretching, twisting, then bursting into the shape of a face, hollow eyes, wide mouth, distorted and hateful. It vanished in an instant, but everyone saw it. Something in the house did not want to be challenged, and it certainly did not want to leave. Exorcism rituals began. The priests returned night after night, praying, chanting, burning incense, sprinkling holy water. The house shook. Doors banged open. Objects flew across rooms. The demon screamed a metallic shriek that made the walls tremble. The shadows twisted violently, ripping through the air like torn fabric. The entity struck back. The father woke with bruises shaped like fingers around his neck. The mother suffered violent nightmares. The children saw faces in their closet, mirrors, faces with empty black holes where the eyes should have been. One night, during an exorcism, the floorboards bent upward, as if something beneath the house was pushing through the ground. The priests shouted prayers louder. The air dropped to freezing. Frost formed on the windows. A black shape rose in the center of the room, tall, boiling with darkness, its features shifting like liquid shadows trying to imitate a human form. It lunged toward them, but dissolved into thin air before touching anyone. The church demanded more rituals, more prayers, more spiritual warfare. Weeks turned into months. Every time the demon weakened, it surged back with fury. The house became a battleground, but slowly, painfully, the rituals took effect. The attacks grew less frequent. The shadows shrank. The sulfur smell faded. The footsteps stopped. The house grew still. And yet, the stillness wasn't peace. It was waiting. The entity retreated deep into the structure, into the wood, the walls, the ground beneath it. Not gone, not defeated. Retreating, watching, resting. Even after the rituals ended, visitors felt sick inside the home. The air felt heavier in certain corners. The basement door still creaked open on its own. Objects still shifted occasionally. And sometimes, late at night, the sound of slow, deliberate footsteps returned. The demon wasn't gone. It was patient. It had all the time in the world. And some places, some houses, some lands, are born with darkness inside them. Brownsville Road is one of those places. And the demon still knows the name of every person who has ever dared to step inside its home. Follow for more.